Hello, everybody. Thank you very much for coming in. My name is Baltazar Fedelizo. I'm principal and co-founder of Powwow on Parade. And I want to introduce Peter, who's my partner, Roybal. There'll be Ben Hale, our dancer, and Buffalo Heartwoman, she'll be Skyping in, and so will Shannon K. Rivers. And then we have Mike Crowley from the Tournament of Roses. The purpose today is just a slow introduction to Native American and our perspective of the holidays, like Karen said. And moreover than that, just so you know, is that the first 7 years of that person's life will stay with them for the rest of their life. I think the Jesuits say, give me that child his first 7 years, and I'll have him for the rest of our life, for the rest of his or her life. So that's very important. So having said that, the subject matter expert for our topic today would be Peter Roybal, and I'm deferring to him right now. Thank you. Thank you, everybody.
Thank you all for coming. This is a big deal for us to change the Native narrative, right? I know some of you, some familiar faces, some new faces. Just want to give you guys some information before we start. And this is where we're coming from. This is why we're trying to change and what we're trying to do. So history, some Native history. So right now there's about 574 federal tribes in the United States. There's 400 non-federal tribes, at least. There's up to 1,000, some say, on both sides. In California alone, we have over 100 tribes, just in California alone. So if that's 574 throughout the nation, I mean, we hold a big part here. In California alone, there's about 300,000 natives, but we think that number to be closer to 1 million or upward towards 1 million. There's 2.6 million natives registered in the United States right now. That number is down from, 1492, the number was 60 million. 60 million to 2.6 million. And that's what we're dealing with as natives. That's the truth that we're trying to speak on. And then I just want to go over some numbers. In Rwanda, the genocide in Rwanda, there was about 500,000 killed. In the Armenian genocide, there was about 1.2 million Armenians killed. In the Holocaust, up to 6 million Jews killed. In the United States, there's 56 million Native Americans killed. 56 million. So it's a number, and that's the truth that we're speaking on, and that's where we're coming from once again. Things that we've had to deal with before, the saying, kill the Indian, save the man. Any good Indian is a dead Indian. Every buffalo killed is a native gone, right? These are things that are out there, the printed truths, just things that we're trying to speak on and correct and tell the story, to get our story out there. We have some great speakers for you guys today, some great minds we want to bring to you. We want to have this meeting. I'm giving you guys some information, but we want to have this be a positive meeting. We want to inspire you guys. We want to, we want you to take this today and go back to your classrooms and understand why we're doing these things, why we're making these changes, and have that connection to what we're doing. So appreciate it. Thank you for being here. I won't keep any longer, and I want to introduce Mr. Ben Hale from the Navajo Nation.
Is it on?
Okay.
Okay. Yat Eshik is. Anybody understood that? One word? My Navajo people, we have our own language. One of over 200 that's still spoken across this land. Different dialects that native people had, tribal people across this land. a lot of people don't realize how far history goes back. They don't realize that there's always another point of view. In fact, my people say there's 12 points of view. And I always wondered about that. I would hear them talk about that. What do they mean? And then one day when I was going through school and I started reading a book, and then there was 12 angry men. The jury had 12 people. Then that kind of got me thinking. So there's a lot of things in our world that come from our philosophies, our way of life, our languages, the way that we see the land, the air that we breathe, the sun, the moon, the clouds, all of the plants, insects, the minerals, all sacred to my people. So we never forget about those things. Whenever we do a presentation, get together, like a meeting, or whether it's just a dinner, we always talk about our culture. We say that the culture teaches us how to act, how to treat one another, respect, responsibility. Those types of things are commonplace in a home where the Creator's involved. One definite thing that I could say that all tribal people across this land have in common is our belief in the Creator Almighty. People have different words they label the Creator. God, Muhammad, a lot of different labels that they call the Creator. And at the same time, we have our own traditional ways. In my language, we say, Dien literally means the Creator of all things, everything, including ourselves. So I'd like to begin in that way. My upbringing, my father would always pray for people, gatherings and things like that. In our traditional ways, we have 4 levels of prayer. The first one is what we all know, the spoken word. Oh, Creator Almighty, help me out. Bless us, Creator Almighty. The second one, for Native people, we sing our prayer. The third one is we also dance our prayer. A lot of our ceremonies include dancing, which is mimicking, imitating the world around us. The fourth is understanding the first 3 and applying it to your life. They say that's when knowledge becomes wisdom. Wisdom is knowledge applied. You'll never forget it. So today, this morning, I'm going to express my prayer through a song. How'd you like that? Whenever we talk about our culture, it includes everything. Say our relatives out there. I'm not talking about our cousins, aunts, uncles. I'm talking about the trees, the bird life, the animals, the air that we breathe. Father, Son, Mother Earth, Grandmother Moon, Sister Stars, Brother Sky. The whole universe works together in harmony, allows us to survive here, allows us to grow food, to have clean water to drink. Those are the type of things that my people cherish and value. It's life. So whenever we say a prayer or conduct our dances or ceremonies, it's about all of that. It's not just about appeasing a god or something like that. A lot of people really don't understand my culture. Then at the same time, there's so many different tribes, offshoots of those tribes. There's clans within those tribes, societies, and they all have their own ways about them. Long, long ago, one of the most important parts of any community was the warrior society, protect the community. You could say that it would be like a police department. It would be the peacekeepers, maybe looking after the hunting grounds, the fruits and vegetables that are edible. Not all tribes were agriculturalists. So it was, depending on what part of the region you're in, the woodlands of the eastern upstate, all the way down the east coast, down to the swamps of Florida, all the way across the south. Different tribes had their own ways. All the way through the southwest, up the coast here of California, all across the United States, the Great Plains. The only thing that dictated our lives was the environment. There was no group of men or no formalized group that dictated our lives and created like types of, I guess you would say, laws. It's the Creator's laws that we live by. So I'd like to share with you a little bit about this drum, the hollowed out tree trunk that's utilized for the frame of this instrument, the animal hide that's stretched across it. Both of those materials that come from our surroundings, our environment, the animal world, the plant world. It takes a lot of thinking. It takes the elements, fire, water, land, and air, in order for these instruments, the dance outfits I'm wearing, to be utilized like how I'm wearing it today. So this drum itself creates that rhythm. My people say it's the heartbeat of Mother Earth. So whenever a Native person sings or dances to that music, that's our philosophy, is we're dancing to the heartbeat of our Mother Earth. So it's something that goes beyond just appreciating the world around us, our environment, but making it our family. That's why we say Father, Son, Mother Earth, Grandmother Moon, Sister Stars, Brother Sky, because we love it like our own families. So I'd like to share a dance with you. Myself, I do a lot of educating in schools. I've been doing it my whole life. Ever since I could walk, I've been a part of different dance troupes. My father started our own family dance group way back in the late 1950s. And we were just little kids at the time. And we all have children of our own, grandkids, and they all still carry that on. So today, I wanted to share the culture in that way, sharing a dance with you. This dance I'm going to share utilizes these feathers that I'm holding. These are authentic wings of a golden eagle. This is the tail of a golden eagle. These two feathers are my headdress. And there's a lot of stories about the eagle. The outfit in general that I'm wearing is known as the men's fancy feather dance outfit. And there's a specific dance that goes with this outfit. But in this dance that I'm going to share, the dancer imitates the movements, the flight of the eagle. In the Southwest, it's a ceremonial dance. But when I'm sharing these for demonstration, it's not a ceremony. When they have their ceremonies, it's very reverent. And they prepare weeks and ahead of time, weeks and sometimes months. And the dancers are said to become that spirit of the eagle. Whether it's an eagle dance, they might be doing a buffalo dance. Way back in the day, they had so many dances they did. Horsetail dance, and those were dances to honor those animals, how they taught us, provided for us. So an eagle feather, a single eagle feather like this to a traditional native man is one of our sacred items, one of his most cherished items, because with that feather, he can use it in prayer, he can burn his cedar, help other people. They say that eagle's feather is attached to the spirit of that eagle that once possessed this eagle tail as part of himself. And they say that the eagle is our messenger. So that's what this dance is all about. In a ceremonial version, there's literally hundreds of songs that can go to this dance. But I'm going to play only, I recorded only one of those songs for you. So listen closely to the drum beat. The dance moves correlate with it. The moves tell the story of the animal, or in this case, the eagle's life. So if you use your imagination as I go through this dance, you might envision the eagle. You have to use your imagination. You might envision the eagle hatching from the egg, taking his first flight, learning to hunt to feed himself and his family. Toward the end of the dance, when the dancer turns in a circle, representing the eagle spirit returning home. So this is my version of the eagle dance. And then showing you that dance gives you a little idea. When I go to schools, I'm real careful about the verbiage, about the attention span. So I mix in a lot of other dances, tell the story, and I've been to all the way from preschool to university level. And a lot of the teachers always tell me, I've never seen those kids sit for that long. They're just like had their eyes glued on you. Said everything you did, it was just, we can't believe it. Said usually they're getting out of hand, So myself, I always tell the school kids that Native people are not caricatures like a pirate. Pirate, you can't go out to the ocean and see a pirate ship no more. Doesn't exist. So-called pirates might be in other parts of the world, but not how we imagine pirates. But yet, as a Native American, a lot of people have that same image that only exists in the past. But yet, my people, we still cherish our songs and dances. We have social gatherings that we call powwows today, all over the Southland. They had a big one that San Manuel tribe sponsored this past weekend over on the campus of Cal State San Bernardino. So all throughout the year we have dances, sometimes in schoolyards, gymnasiums, wherever we're able to, secure a suitable place for our song and dance. It's where our families can get together somewhere to be around our own people, expose our children to the culture. So that's very important to us. I know my time is probably up right now.
What's that?
My time? Okay. I just wanted to give you a little background of my own family. My parents came out west on a bus. They were bused to Sherman Indian School, located in Riverside, California. Back then it was called Sherman Institute. Back in the 1940s, the early 40s, when my parents were bused there, and they were about 7, 8 years old. It was a part of government policy. The tribe, along with the Bureau of Indian Affairs, would come on the reservations and start talking to the parents. There was always a miscommunication because of the parents didn't understand English, only understood our Navajo language. Benjamin Hale, Honishya, Kin Lachindi Neshla, Totuk Oja Bashichin, Toatsoni Dashiche, Kiani Dashanella, Yat Etian, Yat Eshamaze, Yat Etinetian. In my traditional way, that's how I introduce myself. The first part of Benjamin Hale, Honishya, means I'm called Benjamin Hale. So you could see that translation, a lot was not understood. So when they came on the reservations and started going to all the homes, they said, we're taking census, figuring out how many people are in each family, in each area. So they did that first. And then they came back again. And then they say, in Washington, they were talking about Washington, D.C., they had a translator. Said, the President of the United States passed a law. All school-age kids have to be in school. And these schools were in rural areas, a lot of them. Some of them they did have schools, but they were real small, sometimes inside of a church. But once they started seeing how many children there were, they said, we gotta do something different here. So they took funds and they gave it to organized religions, Episcopals, Methodists, the Catholics, the Mormons, and they set up these large schools funded by the United States government. And they started shipping all the kids over there. Some of the parents didn't want their kids to go. My grandmother on my father's side was a woman like that. No, my son stayed here. He's our next medicine man in our community. He's an apprentice right now, following his uncle around. He's our doctor. They wouldn't hear it. Forcibly, my grandma holding on, took my father about the age of 7 years old from her arms and put him on the bus. So they filled up those buses and they shipped them to Riverside, California. Like those schools were just down the street in the next city, 700 miles from their homes. And they weren't allowed to go home. They had to live there. That's where the term boarding school was created. My parents were a part of that era. They had like a 5 and 8 year program, depending on what age they were when they entered the school. They had to graduate. That's the only way they could go home. If they didn't graduate from high school, then they had to stay there. So roughly they left 7, 8 years old. They didn't get home till maybe 16, 17. So they were gone for a number of years. They left children and came home young adults, adolescents. So my parents made the best of it. My dad met my mother at that school. They were from different parts of the Navajo Nation. When they met, they made a plan. They said, there's a life out here. After we go home, then let's meet up and we'll come back out here and we'll work. Said we'll try to buy a car and then maybe we'll go back home. That was their plan. So they kept in contact through letters. They went home for about 6 months to a year. And they planned to come back out and they took the bus back out here, Greyhound. And when they got back to the school helped them. They had resources. So they gave another bus ticket, some phone numbers, and put them on the bus and they came out here to Los Angeles. My mom found a job in Glendale, California. My father found a job in Vernon, California. So in that way, that's how I came to be born out here. So that's just like one story of how Native people, and Southern California is the largest concentration of tribal people than anywhere else in the nation. So I'd like to thank you all for listening to me in this time. I'm going to be around.
You're going to stick around? Maybe if you have questions or anybody wants to get a picture of you, okay with that? Okay. Thank you, Mr. Ben Hale. I hope you all enjoyed that. We're going to set up now a Zoom for Buffalo Heart Woman. She's in Omaha, Nebraska right now, I believe.
This was an amazing professional development. We were so lucky to be able to see a traditional powwow. We got to see an Indian dance. We got to learn about the respect for nature and the earth and how everything's connected. And then we had a lovely visit from Buffalo Heart Women where we got to hear about how to be culturally responsive and how to teach students the best way possible and how to really value our Native American students in a sensitive way.
I think they all want more. They want to know more. Having the background is really great about the genocide and what the thinking is about how Native people approach education. But I think the next step for me is, well, how do we resolve some of these issues? How, in the classroom, what do we do differently?
It challenges us as teachers to be able to look at it with honest eyes and honest words and find a way to bring healing to this community and to ourselves standing on this land that represents so much loss and so much, taken away.
We are so grateful to have had the Powwow on Parade Foundation folks here with us today. And if you would like more information, please do visit their website.